Recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
He just misgendered him, and then he misgendered him. But the first him doubles down.
We'll continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Then we'll continue it without you, good sir. Because here in Trump's America, we acknowledge reality, not people's imagination. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, and corruption, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters, because truth conquers. But you can't conquer anything unless you're strong. That's why I love grass-fed beef liver with over 80 potent nutrients in it that you don't get from other foods, only organ meats. Ancestral Supplements makes it easy and affordable to bring the nutrients of liver into your life. Part of my daily routine for a reason. Get yours at ancestralsupplements.com/JPReacts, and for 15% off, use the discount code JPReacts. Now we got a little misgendering going on in Congress. Guess what? It's not the deep state leftists running the show anymore. We don't have to outlaw reality and mandate that you cater to people's imaginations. In other words, like, you can acknowledge reality. Like, that's a guy. I'm calling him Mr. So in Congress, we had a little hearing. Congressman Keith Self, man at the gavel, introducing the first openly trans congressman woman ever from Delaware, Sarah McBride. Sarah McBride in this whole thing, basically innocent. But Congressman Keith Self is doing his job and introducing him in accordance with the law. And congressman, probably with very low testosterone from Massachusetts, absolutely freaks out. But to say it's the law, that we can acknowledge reality, let's just remind ourselves of what our great 45th and 47th president said not too long ago.
Will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Well, you must say it again because a lot of people have a thick skull.
Official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Yep, only two genders, male and female. And it's not part of the executive order that I've seen that says it's the official policy of the U.S. government that will recognize you as the one of two genders that you actually are. But nonetheless, we can let common sense take over that. So let's take a little look-ski at Congressman Keith Self addressing trans Congress, they, them, Sarah McBride as Mr. McBride, and then get a little freak out going on.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Now that was spicy. That was spicy. Sarah McBride called him Madam Chair. Very offensive. I mean, this is fighting fire with fire, ladies and gentlemen. Very spicy. Sarah got one over on Congressman Self.
For Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yeah, please.
We have set the standard on the floor of the House.
Well, standards are meant to be violated, because here I am.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order.
So out of order.
Mr. Chairman, have you no decency?
He doesn't.
I mean, I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
I like his strategy. Like, how about a temper tantrum? A temper tantrum to get rules to be violated so things can be the way I want them to be. I like that strategy. And by the way, Congressman Keith Self, who's like, all right, meeting adjourned. We will continue without you. So he's a former Green Beret. So he knows about reality. He's a strong person. Do you think he's intimidated by an estrogenic-filled Democrat from Massachusetts doing this? I turned his mic right towards him. He's had guns pointed at him. He's been in more dangerous, uncomfortable situations than I could imagine. So he's like, yeah, we're staying the course on this. Meeting's adjourned. But there's something very disrespectful that the trustworthy, temperamental congressman from Massachusetts does that I need to point out. So taking a look at the Daily Caller's version of this video, watch this.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr.
I'm
Chairman?
sorry.
He just interrupted that. That white man just interrupted this other white man while the other white man was speaking. Do you know how disempowering that is to women? It's like, I'm going to stand up for the trans community by silencing the trans person that's talking with my voice. Yeah, Sarah McBride, he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm probably here to do business, so let's get on with it. And the official House rules are in accordance with President Trump. Like, we acknowledge that there's two genders, and we're going to call you by the accurate gender. Thank you very much. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first, I want to tell you about Bond Charge's infrared sauna blanket. Because we're living in a new paradigm of health, where now even the common person has woken up and realized nobody's healthy by accident anymore. 73% of people are overweight and obese. We have 77% of young people unfit for military service. 6 out of 10 kids have a chronic disease. And it's not just disease you need to be aware of, it's the reduced quality of life, reduced energy that you have every day when you're not healthy. That's why I absolutely love my infrared sauna blanket. You can burn up to 600 calories in one session, flush out toxins. It's an excellent way to reduce stress, and I always sleep better. And I always keep in mind the study out of Finland that shows regular sauna use equals a 40% reduction in all-cause mortality. The infrared sauna blanket is the most convenient, affordable sauna system on the market. It's powerful, heats up quickly, cleans up quickly. I love mine. If you want to take responsibility for your health and how you feel and function on a daily basis, go to bondcharge.com/JPReacts and check out the infrared sauna blanket. Be sure to use the discount code JPReacts for 15% off. And for even more savings, you should know all Bond Charge products are HSA, FSA eligible, offering you up to a 40% tax savings. That's bondcharge.com/JPReacts. Now back to the video. Now we hear a quick interview, follow-up interview with Congressman Keith Self in just a second. But first, you might be surprised to learn that Sarah McBride wasn't born Sarah McBride.
Is actually a man who previously went by Tim.
Nice. Okay, we got it. That's where the Mr. comes from. Now, before we get to the Keith Self interview, which I love, I want to let you know I got a couple more new pieces of merch hot off the presses in my shop. The American flag hat, very, very stylish. I love it. The Butt God shirt, the back. Probably can't see it too well, but nobody is coming to save you but God. There's a very important message with that. I feel passionate about it. You can check it out on my website, awakenwithjp.com, if you choose to. Now, Keith Self, after this debacle, did an interview with the Daily Wire's Michael Knowles, and this is just a short clip, and it's just, this is a man standing on principle. This is someone who I want as a leader. It's like, what's the truth? Cool, I'll stand for truth. Will I be intimidated away from it? You bet your butt I won't.
Why does it matter? What do you say to your Democrat colleague there, the ranking member, who starts raising his voice, threatens to walk out of the proceeding because you referred to a man as Mr.? What do you say to those people who say it is disrespectful for you to call a man who thinks he's a woman Mr.?
Well, Michael, I'm a retired Green Beret. I'm not even sure what all the fuss is about. I mean, he is allowed to live his life. In fact, I spent 25 years on active duty defending his right to live his life as he chooses. But I don't have to participate in his fantasy. So I am under no obligation to participate in something that he chooses to portray himself as.
Yep, no obligation. That's called freedom, ladies and gentlemen. One way to take away freedom is to say you can't do that. Another way is to say you must do this. Canada has their compelled speech. I mean, rest in peace, Canada. Y'all are under communist rule. I'm sorry about that. But in Canada, they compel speech. You have to accurately address someone by the one of 76 different pronouns. Good luck guessing right. Because aside from male and female, the other ones are, it's kind of roulette at that point. And thank God, at least currently, we have leaders that are saving us from this 1984 psychotic nonsense. By the way, I agree with Keith Self. He spent 25 years in active duty defending someone's right to live how they want to live. And he was also defending everyone else's right to not be forced into some sort of imaginary world under the threat of tyranny. You must do this. I love that. And given the fact that we actually now have leaders in charge that say, like, we're doing reality here, okay? That's just what we're doing. We're doing reality. We'll take a look at a couple more clips from the Daily Caller video that would show us what our future would be times 10 if we continue to let the inmates run the asylum.
Of energy.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Yeah.
It is ma'am.
This guy called me sir. I get this happens every everywhere I go. I get called.
Wow, if everyone calls you sir, you got to maybe rethink who's right and who's wrong in this equation.
Articles written about me using he pronouns and calling me a man over and over again. And I feel like that should be illegal.
Illegal, yeah. I feel like you should live in Canada. By the way, the whole irony of this, ladies and gentlemen, you know it. I'm just going to point it out so that you know it. If misgendering is truly hurtful, then you have to look at someone who's born a man, wears a dress. They are misgendering themselves 24/7. What you're doing by calling him Mr., that's called gendering. It's called accurately gendering. You're saving them from this heinous suffering of them always misgendering themselves. And for that, thank you for serving your country. Let me know what you think about this misgendering poop show. It's not misgendering. It was an accurate gendering poop show in Congress. Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. But until then, just know that God probably doesn't make mistakes with how you're made.